Hey, welcome to www.ourcandyfamily.com. On today's tech blog, I'm going to actually take you to my work, and I have an LCD monitor there that has died, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to fix a dead LCD monitor, and this would also pertain to an LCD TV. And I had to change a capacitor, so follow me to work. For today's tech blog, I'm going to bring you to work. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a broken LCD monitor. This could also pertain to LCD TVs and all that. A lot of times what happens is the problem with them are little capacitors. This monitor here, it won't turn on. As you can see, it's just got a flashing blue light. When I try to turn it on, it won't do anything. More than likely, it's going to be this little capacitor in there. These are about $1. You go down to the electronics store and buy them for $1, or you can order them online for anywhere from 50 cents to $2, depending on the capacitor. So I'm going to skip forward to the deconstruction of the monitor itself. Okay, so now I've actually disassembled the LCD monitor here. I'm taking all the screws out using a flat screwdriver, basically just popping around the edges after getting the 5 screws that were holding it into place. Had to take the stand off. It was held in with just 4 screws here, and had a cover over the top. Every LCD is going to be a little different, but basically on the monitors, most of the time they're just held in by little snaps, and you just go around the edge all the way around and pop it off. Take the cover off, and here's the inside of your monitor. Now your bad capacitors are going to be on the power supply unit, so you'll have screws here that you'll need to take off to get to the power supply unit, and then you'll have your bad capacitors. I'll do a close-up here to show you. I'm going to bring the camera in and do a topping while I'm doing my work here. Okay, so now I got the case apart. Remove that. And basically, this is the power supply unit. They call it a PCB board. It's the power supply board. This is what basically powers your unit. A lot of times what happens is these capacitors will start to bubble, or they'll start to expand, and that's how you can tell that they're bad. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on there. So you can see, as you can see on this one here, you can see the little brown dot in the middle. That means that it's starting to leak. It's electrolyte or whatever is in there. And that is what causes them to go bad. This one is just starting to bulge as well. So I'm going to go ahead and replace both of these today. Okay, so now I've removed the power supply board, and I've also taken a picture so that I know how to put my wires back in once I'm done fixing it. And I'm going to flip it over and see where my contacts are at. I'm going to use to take these capacitors off. Sometimes on the capacitor they put it in with a little bit of silicone to hold it into place. So you might have to take a razor knife or something to get the silicone off. Okay, so now I've heated up my soldering iron, and a little safety tip, this is the hot end. So heated up my soldering iron. Basically I'm tracing the pins onto the other side to see where they're at. And you just heat it up. Sometimes you have to sit it on there for a minute or so before the solder will start to melt. And then eventually it comes out. Alright, one bad capacitor out there. Get my holes. And I got another one over here. Second one out. sure my holes are open. Both capacitors are. Okay. Now here, I'll show you a little trick. On your capacitor, you have a stripe, which is the negative side. The negative side goes on to the black. So when you put it back in, you put your negative to the black. Actually, this one's going to go right here. Just like that. This one has the negative side there. Goes to the black. If you put it on backwards, it'll blow your capacitor the first time you power it on. Okay, now that I've got those in place, I'm going to flip it back over. Actually do it one at a time and solder them on. Okay, so I found a little piece of cardboard that I'm going to use to hold that up into place while I'm soldering it. It just takes a little bit of solder, it doesn't take a lot. Make that look a little bit prettier. Excess solder up. Alright, one down. Nice and tight. Both capacitors have been replaced, and now I'll put it back into the LCD monitor. Okay, now I'm putting the board back in, basically consulting my picture that I took to make sure that all my wires are in there correctly. There's also kind of wrapped around, and so they were pretty much uniform anyways, and makes it easy. It's just a matter of screwing everything back together. Before I put it too far together, I'm going to go ahead, plug it in, turn it over. Alright, just proof that it works, I've got it plugged into a computer, and as you can see, it's running now, so awesome. Just a side note, the tools you're going to need for this, usually a Phillips head screwdriver for the screws, a flathead screwdriver to pop the sides out, a soldering iron. You can just get these little pin type soldering irons are pretty cheap. A little bit of solder, and of course your capacitors. Again, you can get these at electronic supply stores or on the internet. You might also need a razor knife of some sort to cut the silicone off of the capacitors to get them out. So thanks for watching my tech blog, and thanks for coming to www.ourcandyfamily.com.